Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Growth Edit. I'm your host, Georgia, and today I'm really excited because I'm going to be sharing a metaphor that I personally return to again and again in my own life, and it's also the heart and inspiration behind Higher Self House. I call this lovely metaphor the house of self. No, it's not about the actual home you sleep in. What I'm referring to is the quote-unquote house you've been living in your entire life, aka your inner world. This metaphor weaves together your nervous system, your emotions, your inner parts, and the practice of coming back to yourself. So without further ado, let's step inside and walk through it together. Picture your inner world as a big house. Not a Pinterest perfect home, but one that's very much lived in, built the year you were born. Rich with character. We're talking creaky floorboards, rooms that haven't been opened in years, maybe a loose screw here and there. A house with history. This house is you. It's made of every belief, every memory, every emotion, every nervous system response. Some rooms are warm and lived in, some are closed off. Some feel like the light hasn't been turned on in years. You may find yourself spending most of your time in one wing of the house, avoiding the rooms that feel too loud or uncomfortable or overwhelming. But that avoidance isn't failure. It's actually survival. But the invitation is to stop surviving in just part of the house and begin learning how to live in the whole thing. Now, let's bring in the systems that run the house. Think of your nervous system as the electrical wiring. It keeps the lights on, the refrigerator running, the security system online. When the wiring works, you feel safe, connected, and clear. You can respond, not just react. But if you've lived through trauma or chaos, your wiring may short circuit easily. Lights flicker, outlets spark. Sometimes the whole system goes dark. That's nervous system dysregulation. And here's the thing. You didn't wire this house. You inherited it. But you can begin to rewire it, slowly and gently, by learning how to listen to your body. Now, emotions. In this metaphor, emotions are water. They're meant to flow, moving through pipes to rinse, cleanse, and hydrate. But if you were raised where emotions were punished or ignored, or if you learned to suppress your feelings, your plumbing may be clogged. Grief, anger, and fear start to back up the pipes, and eventually, they burst. You may find yourself breaking down out of nowhere. But it's never out of nowhere. No. It never is. It is out of everywhere you've been holding it in. The tears you swallowed, the truths you silenced, the screams you muted. Again, the body keeps the score. Your body never forgot. This is why healing has to address both the wiring and the plumbing, the nervous system and the emotions. It's not just about talking or thinking. It is about feeling and making the house safe enough for those feelings to move. So just to recap, your house isn't only made of walls and rooms, it's powered by the wiring of your nervous system and the plumbing of your emotions. If the wiring shorts or the pipes clog, the whole house feels it. That is why healing isn't just about shifting your mindset. It's about somatically helping your nervous system feel safe again. When your body registers safety, it downshifts out of survival mode and allows your emotions to complete their cycle, releasing what's been held instead of keeping it stuck. And now, let's go a step deeper. Because inside this house, it's not just systems running in the background. It's also filled with characters. Different parts of you, each living in their own room. This is where internal family systems inspires the metaphor. In IFS, you are made up of quote-unquote parts. inner personalities that each have their own feelings, thoughts, beliefs, and stories. Now, there are many different types of parts that live in the house, but in today's episode, I just want to focus on 2. First, let's talk about the younger parts, the snapshots of you frozen in time. Picture each of these parts as living in their own room in the house. Maybe it's the little one who clung to mommy or daddy, desperate to feel safe. The 5-year-old who felt abandoned for the first time. The 10-year-old who dreamed of love and longed to be chosen. The preteen who learned it wasn't safe to show emotions. The teenager who felt misunderstood or desperate to belong. The young adult who had their heart broken and reinvented themselves just to feel worthy. And even present day you, who's tired, overwhelmed, and still trying to make sense of it all. Each of these rooms connects to the others. Layers of experience shaping the wiring, the plumbing, and the very structure of the house you live in today. And most of them carry echoing core beliefs like, I'm not good enough. Second, there are the protectors. Parts that stepped up when life felt unsafe. And here's the thing. They like to run the house. These parts operate from survival fear, reacting to the atmosphere of the house that's governed by your nervous system. Some of them try to stay in control, micromanaging everything, keeping things neat, polished, and managed. Others act impulsively, slamming doors, shutting down, or distracting you at all costs. But their goal is always the same: to prevent you from feeling hurt or from confirming the limiting beliefs you've been carrying about yourself. Some of these protectors are what I call house managers. They're proactive, always trying to stay one step ahead of pain. Like the perfectionist, repainting the walls again and again, believing if she just gets it right this time, maybe she'll finally feel okay. Or the overachiever, locked in the office, pushing, proving, exhausted. Or the people pleaser, moving from room to room, smoothing over cracks, desperate to be liked, trying to keep the peace. Or the anxious part, pacing the door, checking the locks, scanning for threats. And then there are the house responders. They don't step in until the alarm of your nervous system is already blaring. And they're not worried about appearances either. They just want the noise to stop. Like the angry part, slamming doors in the basement, yelling so someone will finally listen. Or the numb part, collapsed on the couch or in the bed, blanket overhead, shutting out what feels like too much. Sometimes it can look like rage, binging, drinking, doom scrolling, overworking, anything to drown out the alarm. But here's the thing. None of these protectors actually fix the house. They don't repair the wiring of the nervous system or unclog the plumbing of emotions. No, they just repaint the walls, slam the doors, drown out the sound, and slap band-aids on leaky pipes. The root issue, a younger part in pain, remains untouched, sitting in a back room of the house, still holding memories, limiting beliefs, unprocessed grief, and the weight of shame. It's like every time you get triggered, you're pulled straight into one of those younger rooms. From inside that room, it feels like you've hit an emergency button or something. Your body reacts, your emotions flood, and you literally start operating from that younger version of yourself. And because life keeps pressing on old wounds, you might notice yourself moving from room to room. Sometimes the abandoned child, sometimes the angry teen, sometimes the heartbroken young adult. Without realizing it, you're living and leading from these wounded parts in your everyday life instead of from your whole, grounded self. And this is where the highest self comes in. Dun dun dun. She's the one who notices which part is leading, which room you're operating from. She doesn't exile them or shame them. She simply leads by observing, holding space, acknowledging, and validating them. Let's say you get triggered. An emotional wave crashes in and takes over. It's not new. No, you're very familiar with this feeling. Maybe your hypervigilant house manager, anxiety, picked up on subtle cues of abandonment or rejection. Suddenly, a surge of grief and anger floods your system. Panic takes over. Your body braces, your breath shortens, and you cling to survival. The alarm is blaring. Your nervous system is activated, and the response feels bigger than the moment. Why? Because it's not just about now. It's about then, about all the moments that felt just like this one. You're not just reacting to the present. You're reliving the past. And in that moment, it can feel all-consuming, paralyzing, like fear is running the entire house. That reaction might be coming from a very specific room in the house, a memory, a younger version of you. Maybe it's the 5-year-old with an abandonment wound, the one who decided, I'm not good enough. There must be something wrong with me. That's why people leave. So what do you do when you realize you're being pulled into one of these younger rooms? Well, the first step isn't to push it away or fix it. The first step is to simply notice. Pause. Take a breath. Name what's happening. Okay, this feels like the 6-year-old me with the fear of abandonment. The one who felt left behind by my dad. Even giving language to the part that's activated is powerful. It creates just enough space between you and the part to remember, I am more than this one room. Then, instead of judging or fighting it, meet it with compassion. Place a hand on your heart and say, of course you feel this way. It makes sense. That's how you begin to soothe the nervous system in the moment. Not by silencing the part, but by acknowledging it. Now, imagine your highest self opens the front door of the house. She, or he, I'm going to go with she here, but whatever resonates with you, steps in. She's steady, calm, and unshaken. She's not rushed, not reactive, just present. She notices the storm swirling throughout the house, lights flickering, puddles forming from burst pipes, the anxious manager pacing the halls, the perfectionist frantically repainting, the people pleaser rehearsing apologies, the angry responder slamming doors in the basement. But her presence is different. She doesn't resist the storm or get swept into it. She simply becomes the calm at the center, the steady ground everything else begins to settle around. She walks down the hall where the bedrooms are, and one door stands out. It's glowing with a soft blue light. This is the room you're operating from. Imagine your highest self placing her hand on the doorknob. She pauses, breathes, and she slowly turns it open. Inside, you see her, your 5-year-old self, sitting against the wall, knees pulled to her chest, eyes swollen from tears, convinced she's too much or not enough. Picture your highest self stepping toward her, toward you. She kneels down and gently wraps you in an embrace. No words, just her steady, grounded presence that says, I've got you now. You're safe. You don't have to do this alone anymore. Let yourself soften in her golden embrace. Whatever emotion rises in that moment, let it move. Feel the relief of being held by someone steady. Someone who sees it all, sees you, and stays. And then she whispers, it's okay. You can rest now. I can handle it from here, okay? Maybe your younger part hesitates, afraid to let go. But the gentle assurance of your highest self allows her to slowly nod her head. Okay. And surrender. As that happens, take a deep breath Feel yourself align with your highest self. Keep breathing into her, intentionally, steadily, until you really feel her presence become part of you. Notice what shifts in the house as this happens. The air grows lighter. The wiring begins to steady. The pipes release. The protectors settle. Because someone wiser, more grounded, and deeply compassionate has finally arrived. And from the outside, it shows. You soften. You feel more grounded. Your voice steadies. You respond with more care. There's no urgency to prove or perform. Just a quiet kind of courage. A gentle remembering of who you are. Because now, you're not abandoning yourself. You're not letting the wounded parts run the house anymore. You're allowing your highest self to lead. To guide your life from a place of grounded, intuitive clarity. And the more you invite her in, the more natural it feels to live this way. With an unshakable inner trust. Steady, compassionate, and whole. She was never far away. She was always just outside the door. And the deeper truth is that you never needed someone outside of you to save you. You were the one you've been waiting for all along. Not him, not her, you. So this week, just start to notice which part of your house is the loudest. Which room do you find yourself operating from? Which part might be asking for your attention, your compassion, your care? Just notice. Ground yourself with your breath. Stay present. Lean in gently. And be with it. Listen with compassion. Hold that space. Validate yourself. That's where healing begins. Thank you so much for being here today and for walking through this metaphor with me. My hope is that you leave with a new way of seeing yourself and maybe a softer way of meeting the parts of you that feel tender. Remember, healing is not about becoming someone new. It's about coming home to who you've always been. You are the one you've been waiting for. And the path back home has always been inside you. I'll see you in the next episode.